15. If g is a function defined over the set of all real numbers, and g of x minus 1 is 3x squared plus 5x minus 7, then which of the following defines g of x? So this is interesting. We've been given a function g of x minus 1, and we want to find out what is the function g of x. So what we're actually going to do is put into that function x plus 1, and what we'll get out is g of x. So that's the game plan. So let's substitute into the g of x minus 1 function x plus 1. So I'm plugging into here, and every time I see x, I'm going to write x plus 1, and then the rest is algebra. So it's 3 times x plus 1 quantity squared plus 5 times x plus 1 minus 7. We have to FOIL this. So 3 times x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus, and now we distribute the 5x plus 5 minus 7, and now we distribute the 3, so 3x squared plus 6x plus 3 plus 5x plus 5 minus 7, and now we combine like terms, so 3x squared plus 11x plus 1, and that's answer choice C. 16. Retail businesses strive to price their products so they'll sell as many as possible. Economic equilibrium is the price point when supply equals demand. According to the graph, what's the price in dollars where supply equals demand? So that point is the intersection of these two lines on the chart, and the price at which that is true is halfway between 10 and 20. That's 15. 17. Once an insect reaches its larval stage, its mass increases linearly for a short period of time and then slows down as it prepares to enter pupation. Suppose the larva of a certain species has an initial mass of 10 grams and grows linear from t equals 0 to t equals 48 hours of its larval stage. If after 48 hours the mass of the larva is 14 grams, what's the mass in grams at t equals 6 hours? So at t equals 0 hours, we know that its initial mass is 10 grams. And then at the end, when t equals 48 hours, we know that its final mass is 14 grams. And what they're asking us is at t equals 6 hours, what is the mass? Well, we know it grows linearly, and 6 is 1/8 of 48. So it's going to pick up 1/8 of the change in mass. How much is the mass changing? It's increasing by 4 grams. What's 1/8 of 4? Well, it's a half, so it's going to grow half a gram. And if it's starting at 10, it'll finish at 10.5 grams. So that's the answer, 10.5. 18. Several values for the functions f and g are shown in the tables. What's the value of f of g of minus 1? So that's a composite function. We have to start with the inner. So g of minus 1, based on this, is 2. And now we want f of 2, which based on this is 4. So 4 is the answer. 19. If 4 plus 3i times 1 minus 2i equals a plus bi, then what's the value of a? Note that I is the square root of negative 1. So then I squared equals negative 1. That's a useful fact. So we're going to have to FOIL these two. Let's do that. So we get 4 minus 8i plus 3i minus 6i squared. And I squared is negative 1, so minus 6 times negative 1. This term actually equals plus 6. So now combine like terms, we get 10 minus 5i. And that, if that's fitting in the format of a plus bi, and they want to know what's the value of a, then a is 10. 20. The maximum value of the data shown in the scatter plot occurs at x equals 56.25. If the data is modeled using a quadratic regression and the model is an exact fit, then what is the y value when x equals 90? We know that the maximum happens at the vertex. So the x value for the vertex is 56.25. We don't know what the y value is. And then we want to know what the y value is at some other value, x equals 90, which is presumably over here somewhere. And we're going to use the fact that there's symmetry about the vertex. So there's some other point that's equally distant from the vertex in the x dimension, which we do know the y value of from the table. So imagine that this distance is symmetrical. It doesn't look symmetrical on my chart. But the distance along the x-axis between these two is 33.75. So what's the value of the point on the left side of the vertex, that's the same distance as x equals 90 is on the right side. So let's do 56.25 minus 33.75. That's x equals 22.5. And it just so happens that we have that part of the table. 22.5 has a corresponding y value of 50.5. So if that's the y value at x equals 22.5, that's going to be the same y value at x equals 90. So 50.5 is the answer.